WWE have made a bizarre new hiring policy. Future Forbidden Door plans have been revealed, and a former WWE star has returned in a backstage role with the company. Stay tuned. So we are kicking things off with an absolutely bat poop one, as WWE have made a new hiring policy relating to referees. What's the deal, Andrew?
So this is just so weird. Basically, WWE are looking to make talent a lot taller by hiring shorter referees.
Makes perfect sense. Let's move on. It's a weird one, isn't it? This is from the Wrestling Observer. So, I mean, it's not a problem that I don't know what to say about this. It's not a problem that I've ever noticed is that, like, oh man, that wrestler looks small because the referee is bloody massive. They're not especially big men and women anyway.
No.
Really, the problem has been like backstage interviews. And so Tom Phillips going all doing his splits and that. So we'll keep you updated on that, of course. But if you are a person of smaller stature, then today is your lucky day.
This is why you hire me in the first place, just to make you look more like a monster.
I don't need to look any bigger in any area of my more issues on Charlotte Flair in the WWE women's roster now. We're going to be talking about Charlotte Flair for a little bit. There's a few stories to get through here. Some pretty big ones, once again from the Observer. And Dave writes, there's been unhappiness for a long time between Flair and many, if not most, of the women wrestlers on the roster for little things and some things that do have to do with match structure. This is where it gets really interesting. One of the complaints is that Flair wants to be a heel, is a heel, but does babyface moves during the matches. Most notably, the dives or moonsaults in and out of the ring. Of course, there are male heel wrestlers who do spectacular moves as well, but that's just part of modern wrestling. But the idea is that it's hard for a babyface to get over in a match with Flair. Which, I think this is a bit more nuanced than perhaps it appears immediately, because we are past the point, things have developed more, past the point where it's just babyfaces doing big spectacular moves. But in recent memory, at least, I can't think of many women who have been sort of elevated that much by Charlotte, and like maybe the moveset does play into that. When she's doing these spectacular moonsaults out of the ring, is that something that you think should be reserved for babyfaces?
I mean, I feel like when Charlotte does go up against another opponent, you kind of think about Charlotte's moveset more because they're a lot more grand and a lot more flashy and showy. And that, in turn, could very much make the other person that she's in the ring with just not look anywhere near as good as what she might do.
For sure.
You know?
I mean, if you're a babyface and you do a cool dive to the outside or something like that, and then within 30 seconds, Charlotte Flair's moonsaulting off the top rope to the concrete on the outside, that's like that's going to take away from your moveset.
Of course it is.
I'm sure Charlotte doesn't especially care. Charlotte Flair, once again, as you'll remember, obviously, all of the drama that's happened over the last week or so stemmed from the SmackDown incident where the belt was thrown to the canvas, which was cut from YouTube version, the YouTube version of that particular clip on WWE's official channel. Obviously, you can still find it if you're looking for it. But that's not where it ends. Dave Meltzer once again noting that they are not going to use that footage anywhere else on their programming. To show how mad the company was about how it came across, on the replay of the show the next night, they edited out the parts of the segment that they had not scripted, and we're told that that will be the case in replay streaming forever.
Whoa!
forever! As well. So essentially the company view going forward is to erase it from existence.
Wow.
That's pretty big, isn't it?
That is pretty huge, that, isn't it? To erase it from existence forever. It's clear that they were just not happy at all with how this went down. And what can you say about it?
Well, they went off script. That wasn't that wasn't the plan. That's not the story that they want to tell. So I can understand it. But I'm also like, I guess it sort of plays into the sort of WWE revisionist thing that they do. And we see a lot of that. I don't actually like stuff getting cut out unless there's a really, really good reason. I want to see it how it aired, but I do get it. It's their TV show, isn't it? What are you going to do? And WWE also were planning to build the SmackDown women's division around Charlotte Flair. I think this is something that was fairly obvious. But Dave once again writes, here are the bases of the situation. The plan was for the SmackDown women's division to be built around Flair, and long term, the obvious storyline is for her to become a 17-time world champion, becoming in WWE history the first person, male or female, to do it, breaking the record held by her father, or John Cena. So I guess here the interesting thing is whether or not the women's division on SmackDown will be built around Charlotte Flair anymore. It's going to be an interesting show tonight, isn't it?
It really is. I think a lot of the excitement around tonight's show is whether Charlotte will turn up or not.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's made more interesting if she doesn't turn up, actually. Like, it'll be fascinating to see what she does if she's on the Blue Brand show tonight. But if Charlotte is absent, then lots more people are going to be talking about it. It's a very, very fascinating situation. Speaking of fascinating, the Forbidden Door is a fascinating concept, and we've seen it play out with AEW, New Japan, and Impact. Obviously, Impact, the world title was held by an AEW contracted superstar wrestler in Christian Cage. He dropped the belt to Josh Alexander. He very, very quickly dropped the belt to Moose at Bound for Glory. And this is to do with whether or not Impact are going to be working with AEW in at least the short term. And unfortunately, the answer's no.
Wow.
So it's written, Cage is not going to be doing a rematch, nor is anyone from AEW looking at facing Moose for the title. And I don't actually have a problem with this. I like the Forbidden Door. I like the stuff that they've done there. But now you've got two top Impact stars.
Yeah.
Feuding for the title, the Impact title, and they feel like Impact guys.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, obviously, Cage having the belt was a fantastic move. It gets more eyes on Impact as a whole, and it's nice to see Christian Cage sort of going back to his Impact, sort of like his little Impact, that's it. His roots. I mean, he was very much deeply embedded in
They invested
Impact
so heavily
history.
when WWE
Of course,
wouldn't.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that feels like a very nice tie back to history, and also, as I said before, a nice way to get eyes back onto Impact. But now I think it's vital to have two big Impact stars fighting for that belt as well, because it is inherently the Impact title, isn't it? So it makes sense to have big stars from Impact going up like for the biggest title in their company. So
for sure.
I just think it makes a lot of sense. And I mean, it would be silly to sort of downplay Moose and Josh Alexander as well, because they're both fantastic wrestlers, and it's time for them just to have an absolute barn burner, focus on that storyline rather than having to cross in AEW stuff as well.
Agreed.
And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
It's a relationship that has really, really helped out Impact, but now it's certainly time for them to to focus, rather on their Impact contracted stars. Don Callis has been absent from AEW TV for a little while now. Just a quick note on him. Don Callis still under contract and is part of the Omega Act, and will be back soon.
Yay.
So we look forward to seeing the Jackal on our screens one more time. And we are finishing with some very, very happy news indeed. Some rootin' tootin' news, if you will, as a former WWE megastar has returned to the company. But don't expect to necessarily see him on your screens because he's working backstage as a producer. We are talking about none other than...
Who's coming? We finished work on a Friday. Hello, who's parked outside? Who's coming to pick us up? Hello, who's that? That's a toot toot. Is that a party bus I hear, Adam?
Ooh, who's driving the party bus?
I don't know, but they seem to be wearing a cowboy hat.
Little moustache, maybe.
They certainly do indeed. It's Jimmy Wang Yang, everybody. He has returned. However, as you said, sadly not on the screens. He is going to be a producer, a backstage producer for Raw.
Yeah, love it. Good for him. I watched a thing a while ago, like a behind the scenes, where are they now sort of thing about Jimmy Wang Yang. And he is beloved by absolutely everyone. He had this interaction with John Cena. At the time, like, Cena is the guy in the company, the guy in all of wrestling. And Cena just like made loads of time for him and loved Jimmy Wang Yang, and everybody that he interacted with backstage adored the guy.
He is so charismatic, and he's so infectious with his happiness as well. I think it's hard not to like Jimmy Wang Yang.
He's just fun.
And hopefully, maybe we will see him backstage, hopefully in backstage segments. I think we
24/7 title.
Oh my God.
Stick it on him. No offense, Reggie. I know you've held the belt for longer than anybody else in one single reign, but now is Jimmy Wang Yang's time.
Get him on get him on the party bus, and then he can like disguise himself as different people on the party bus, and he can just hold the belt forever and never let it go, ever, and make that the most prestigious title in WWE history. Never mind the Universal Championship. Move over, Roman Reigns. You've had your time. He's done. That's it. That's the news. That's the Friday. Today we're done. Are you getting on party bus?
I'm getting on the party bus.
Let's go. Come on, let's get on the party bus.
Thank you very much for watching. We will see you very soon.